This is the Yes Network right here. Phantom Acts of Kindness hooking us up right here.
Yeah, he's excelled at every level. And they told this kid, hey, you have the opportunity to win the job in camp. So, like, you got to put Judge in this category. When you're talking about the most impressive season since, like, you got to put A-Rod, like, format. This first year of the new format, the Beast of the East, the Yankees crushed the best division in baseball. McPherson, WFAN, on stage.
Hey, Keith Mack, man. Big fan.
Bam, 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 bam. You're... Pew, 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 pew. Right back at it again, baby. On a Monday, a Merry Monday, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. I'm in the Christmas spirit, and I used to never be in the Christmas spirit, you know. I was telling y'all the other day, all that make-believe ended for me at age 4. And I was a big-time Scrooge. I was a big-time bah humbug. I love the Grinch because I was with the Grinch. Like, bro, go and steal Christmas and mess it up for the rest of them. It's not all holly and jolly for everybody. Sorry, my mic was muted. When you see Christmas and the holidays through a child's eyes, it'll make it different for you, or it should. If it doesn't, I think that's kind of weird. I mean, if you don't find joy in your kids believing in things and being excited for cookies and snow and jingle bells and songs and every kind of kids movie from Paw Patrol to Mickey Mouse to Blippi to Elmo, right? You know what I'm saying? And we're running out of days. So you got tonight, you got tomorrow night, you got Wednesday night, then it's Christmas and you're done. So enjoy the holidays, enjoy the week. Week 16 in the NFL. Bum, 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 bum. Nick says you and BT should start a Yankees podcast. That makes me start off with shouting out BT. I don't need these headphones. I was doing the headphones for a sound check. Go subscribe to BT's Unleashed YouTube channel. I am very impressed with how quickly he got his subscribers up. I think any of us that have ever built YouTube channels or done things on YouTube understand how much of a slow grind that is. I think most of us understand, like, unless you have, I don't know, a big corporation behind you or whatever, like, YouTube is not easy to get the watch hours on to monetize or the subscribers that easily. You got to consistently put out content. You got to know how to make thumbnails. You got to write these titles the right way. You've got to put the tags together, all that stuff. So shout out to BT for launching his Unleashed YouTube show. And it went live today at 10:15. I haven't got to it because I ended up being out in the stores and doing some last minute shopping. But shout out to BT because he put that out yesterday in the morning at or maybe Saturday. I don't know. The days are flying by now. I think he put it out Saturday morning. And I think he had just under 500 subscribers. And he's quickly got from 500 to 4,000 subscribers, which is dope. So rooting for him. And, it also shows the network and the connections that BT has made over the course of his almost 30-year career. I got a lot of respect for BT, but I don't expect BT and I to be making a Yankee podcast. My suggestion to all of you would be don't make a Yankee podcast. There's too many of them. It's oversaturated. We don't need another Yankee podcast. We got it. We're good. The purpose of this stream today is to talk NFL. So, man, let's get into it. I love the NFL and I hate it at the same time. It's predictable and it's unpredictable at the same time. One thing I'll say about the league is I've been falling asleep on these games. I mean, a guy that was getting no sleep, now I'm just naturally falling asleep during football games, and I'm waking up to see, wait, the Bears won? The Patriots won? The NFL is crazy, and I think we're shaping up for a crazy playoffs and a crazy Super Bowl, and it won't be your usual suspects, all right? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are cooked, right? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are so cooked. They had Chris Oladokun in the game because Gardner Minshew ended up tearing his ACL a week after Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. Yikes. Insanity. Bills Mafia says, is bro going to talk about the Buffalo Bills? Hell yeah, I'm going to talk about the Buffalo Bills because nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, but got a little scary there in Ohio with the Cleveland Browns. But I would say if you're looking at the AFC right now, as I'm saying that the Chiefs aren't going to be there this year, who's coming out of the AFC? I would think that the Bills have a very good chance, and that out of all of the years, this would be the year that the Bills have to get it done. Specifically you, Josh Allen. Specifically you, Josh Allen. The Bengals won't be there, and Joe Burrow won't be in the way. You also don't have to worry about Mr. Patrick Mahomes like I was just speaking on. But you might have to worry about Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence, and Duval. Shout out to Duval County. Shout out to Jacksonville, Florida. I got family in Reebok, Sherwood Forest, all the way down there. Granny live on Roanoke Boulevard. I used to spend summers down there in Jacksonville. The first NFL stadium I went to was down there where the Jacksonville Jaguars play when they were an expansion team. So I do got part Jacksonville Jaguars in my blood. Shout out to Jackson DeVille, their mascot. My son Jackson is looking for an NFL team. I'm just saying we could rock with this new version of the Jags. They go into Denver and they beat the Broncos. And I think most of us that have watched the Broncos all year were thinking, oh, they've got them right where they want them. They're going to come back now. Oh, they got them right where they want them. Here comes a fourth quarter comeback. But it was not what was going down yesterday. They just kept coming. Pause. Trevor Lawrence holding it down. Travis Etienne, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange in that Jaguars defense. Let's pull up a couple scores here. I see the TikTok chat going crazy. And shout out to you guys on TikTok as the numbers are building over there. Do that TikTok-y stuff, like send some glasses, send a rose, send a gift, I don't know. I see the likes. I see people following. If you're not following me, hello, Keith McPherson. I see people talking down on WFAN. Please don't do that. Shout out to WFAN. The flagship station of your New York Yankees, your New York Giants, which we'll get into in a minute. The Brooklyn Nets, your Brooklyn Nets are back. Rutgers basketball, and the first 24-hour sports talk radio station in the country that's still leading the country, has a ton of listeners, has a ton of change going on. Can I send a shout out to the 20 to 30 people behind the scenes who are officially done? Can I send a shout out to good friends of mine that were just straight up professionals in that building, guys that brought me in, showed me the ropes, added me to their family, added me to their brotherhood, added me to the fraternity that is WFAN, CBS Sports Network, Infinity Sports Network. There's a lot of good people that are done this week. They're saying their goodbyes. They're saying their farewells. I don't have to go name by name, but if you're on Twitter or if you've listened to the radio station, you're hearing that, and I kind of have a heavy heart about it because a lot of these folks, they got hit with that news and I don't know exactly where they're going to go next or what they're going to do next. And it's up in the air. And people jokingly have said I was fired or that happened to me. And I'm not joking right now when I say people were actually let go fired. I was not let go fired. I made a decision to step down because the schedule conflicts were not working at home from my personal life. But there are actual people that did updates, that were board ops, were producers, were people behind the scenes for years. People that were doing that when I was in college in that building that are done now. Change is constant. Shout out to everybody at WFAN, the fabric of WFAN, CBS Sports Network, and the Infinity Sports Network, that at the end here of 2025, no mas, no more. They're done, and they're going to all go different places and do different things. But I wanted to send a public shout out to all of my friends in the building, all of my coworkers, acquaintances in the building that are no longer going to be in the building. My key card's good wherever it is. I will be back in the building. But for now, I'm here at home, being a family man and, talking live about the NFL and whatnot. So let's continue that. If you're on StreamYard and you're on Twitter, you can see what I'm about to put up with these games. Monday night, we still have a game left before we get into the games that just happened. Monday night, if you're popped and you've got that last $50, bet it on the Niners. Or maybe you're feeling froggy and you want to bet it on the Colts. I would bet it on the Niners, though. I would bet it on the Niners, maybe some anytime touchdowns. Yesterday, I was going over some of the anytime touchdowns. I don't think I still have it. I deleted it. But guys like Demarcus Robinson, Kyle Juszczyk, there's big money for those guys. Kendrick Bourne, there's big money to be made out there for some of those guys to get in the end zone. The usual suspects of Christian McCaffrey, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, of course. Brian Robinson, maybe you sprinkle a couple dollars on him. Brock Purdy to run one in, maybe you sprinkle a couple dollars on him as well. Monday Night Football coming your way tonight, and I'm sure it's going to be a very festive holiday feel. Most people are checking out. Most people are done after tonight. Some tomorrow. I don't want to see. There we go again with the blanket statements on what the holiday is and what people are and aren't doing. Some people are working the whole week. Some people got to work. But I just know from my experience in the corporate world, people are putting that out of office message up today, and they will not return, some of them, until 2026. But let's go back and let's look at yesterday's games. No, let's go even further back. Let's go back and look at the games. Like how I said, I was falling asleep, right? Thursday and Saturday we had games. So Thursday Night Football was excellent. Rams, Seahawks. I think when I was on live for Thursday Night Football, shout out to the guys on Live on Assist, I was talking about how cooked my fantasy team was. I left 35 points on the bench with Kenneth Walker, and it didn't matter because I was playing against James Cook. I was playing against Devin Achane. I was playing against Justin Herbert. I was playing against a bunch of guys where it wouldn't have mattered. So I don't feel so bad about that anymore. I don't feel so bad about the fantasy stuff. So I was the number one seed in fantasy. The first week, the bye week that I had, my team balled out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Jacobs, Jameson Williams, a couple other guys balled out, Travis Etienne. But that's what happens in fantasy. You have a better performance on the bye week. You come into the next week and you get absolutely cooked. So I'm done in fantasy. But, man, shout out to Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. When you think about the Seahawks, when you think about Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, I'm a baseball guy. I've been talking about how Cal Raleigh did not win the MVP, and how the Mariners did not get to the World Series. And so there's a lot of pain and hurt in that place where they took the Seattle Supersonics and they gave them the Seattle Kraken, but so what? That whole area of fans that live out there in the woods, and there's a ton of Christmas trees available out there in the Emerald City, they are riding behind Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and that Seattle defense. And that was a hell of a game, maybe the best Thursday Night Football game ever. 38-37, the Seahawks beat the Rams. I loved it. I was live for it. If you're on YouTube, you can go back and you could see play-by-play. We had the scoreboard up. I was watching the whole thing, and I was just kind of talking to you guys. Saturday came, and Saturday I'm watching Tulane get rolled by Ole Miss, which we all knew was coming. And what I'll say about that briefly is I'm glad that James Madison University was able to put up 400 yards, 30-plus points, and they had a much better showing against Oregon than Tulane had against Ole Miss. But, man, once those games were pretty much a wrap, and college football playoff is on first, and the NFL traditionally doesn't start doing their Saturday games until after the Army-Navy game. Once we get into this holiday season, we get Eagles Commanders, which was a bum fest in the beginning. It was 7-3 Eagles in the first quarter. It was, 10 10-7 for a little while, and when you're watching that game, they didn't get started and really cooking the Eagles until the second half. But the Eagles go out and win 29-18, eliminating the bum ass Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones will never win anything. Jerry Jones has made too many deals with the devil. The Dallas Cowboys are America's team to laugh at. If you follow me on Instagram, which those of you watching on Instagram, the People's Champ on Instagram says, you're. If you follow me on Instagram, I put in my story, there was a story that literally made me laugh as we talk about America's team to laugh at. If you're on TikTok and you've never heard of me before, my name's Keith McPherson. I do sports talk. I do more than sports talk, though. But for this, I'm doing sports talk. And I got to pull this up for you guys. Trayvon Diggs, bro, you like Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs hurt himself hanging up a TV. He said that he bumped his head while the TV hit his head, something like that. I'm not even going to pull it up. I don't have time for it because it's already 3 o'clock. But tell me somebody heard that story. Tell me somebody else heard that story. David says, let's talk college football, Keith. We will. I will do a stream going into the next round of the college football playoff. Briefly, all I mentioned was just Tulane gets rolled by Ole Miss. JMU gets rolled by Oregon. JMU kept it like it was never close. It was close in the beginning. That first drive, Alonzo Barnett, Wayne Knight had a good drive. What I'll say is they're never going to let that happen again. All the crybabies from Notre Dame, they're never going to let that happen again. Vanderbilt with Pavia, they're never going to let it happen again. That like you expand the playoff and Power 5 schools that we know are better than Group of 5 schools don't get in. They're never going to allow that to happen again. So what I'll say is I'm glad that JMU was one of those teams that got in. JMU has come very far. Myself being someone that went there because I could see the vision in the future of what they were building 20 years after I signed my letter of intent. I'm extremely proud to see that they got on that national stage. They played at Oregon and they put up the most points and yards that anybody put up against Oregon all year. And that might hold. You know what I'm saying? Oregon can continue on and that might hold. So that's all the college football talk I have. I really do want to hit NFL. Give me 1 second. If you had 150,000, what would you do? What would you do? Spend 150,000 on a football team? Wait a minute, that's not enough to buy a team. You guys are talking about everything in TikTok chat. They want me to talk about Fordham hoops. They want me to talk about the Knicks, college football, Brooklyn Nets talk, Danny Wolf. The Brooklyn Nets are playing some defense. All it took was a little bit of time, coaching and chemistry. I like what I'm seeing out of your Brooklyn Nets, especially now at home. I might have to pull up. I might have to show up to Barclays, not Barclays. I might have to go to Flatbush and Atlantic again. I might. But anyway, back to it. I'm trying to talk NFL with y'all, man. You guys don't care about the NFL, or you do care about the NFL? I think you do care about the NFL. So let's go to the rest of those games, those early games. So Eagles beat the Commanders. The Commanders have Josh Johnson in the game. I want to say Josh Johnson played against my university, Monmouth University, my second university, the university I actually graduated from. I want to say he played against Monmouth when he was at San Diego State. Blast from the past. Let's see. Josh Johnson College. University of San Diego, not San Diego State, not the Aztecs. He went to University of San Diego. But anywho, the Commanders, Bummanders, had no shot. And, excuse me, I knew the Eagles were going to win that game, and that game eliminated Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys and good. But the Packers-Bears game, man, well, Jordan Love gets knocked out of that game concussed. And Malik Willis does a pretty darn good job. Any other teams looking for a quarterback that don't want to draft one? Malik Willis is a guy that I'm looking at, and I'm like, this guy is somewhat serviceable. No, more than somewhat serviceable. But, the Packers had that game until they didn't. The Bears had only put up 3 points in 3 quarters. But there's something about Ben Johnson. There's something about Caleb Williams this year. There's something about that team. They fight till the very end. They're never out of any game. And I fell asleep on that game. I literally fell asleep on that game. I woke up the next day to be like, wow, look at this. Caleb Williams threw a deep ball into the end zone. Dropped it right in the bucket to DJ Moore. If you recall, DJ Moore didn't even want him on the team. DJ Moore wanted them to stick with Justin Fields. I bet you don't hear a word out of DJ Moore about Justin Fields now. Justin Fields is not even on the field for the New York Jets, and that's my segue. You see how I got out of that and went right to where I wanted to go? JETS, just end the season. Let's put up the JETS, just end the season banner. JETS, just end the season. Bro, what are we on? What are we talking about? So here's the score. The Jets go down to New Orleans to face the Saints. Who'd I say they're going to beat them Saints? No, neither team from New York. So the Saints sweep the Giants and the Jets. They beat both New York teams. Not hard to do. Most teams do that. But they're only able to put up 6 points against the Saints. The Saints put up 29. Oh, boy, I had a parlay cooking. I had Chris Olave 2 touchdowns. Just needed Drake London to score a touchdown in his return. Didn't happen. But, yo, I see y'all in the TikTok chat, too. I got like 4 chats going. So I'm getting there. I'm kind of just doing the show. What I've kind of learned here with this, too, do the show, hit your talking points, and then go back to the chat after. Because if I go to the chat, I don't get my thoughts out. I don't get what I prepared out. I don't get my show together. I don't, you guys throw me off. But, yeah, I see you guys on YouTube. I see you guys on Twitter. I see you guys on TikTok. And then Instagram, I see you guys right here as well. So I will get to everybody in the chat, but just follow me quickly here as I run through, some takes and some thoughts that I want to get off, man. So with the Jets, we're talking about Brady Cook. Let Brady cook. I get it. It's a tankathon on both sides of New York. It's a tankathon.com. It is a battle for the number 1 pick. The season's been over. I absolutely understand and get that. But what are we? I don't know. Are the Jets content with their 3 wins under Aaron Glenn in year 1? Are the Jets content with their 3 wins where they're going to just lose a game behind young Brady Cook? So, some of the conversation was, right, like Tyrod was available. And you know what? Shame on Justin Fields. And I know people don't want to attack Justin Fields. He talked about crying in his closet and all this stuff. I get the mental health aspect of it. I'm not talking about him breaking down his mental health. I like that he's a God-fearing man and he's always talking about Jesus and his belief. But shame on this guy to not be prepared to play the rest of the way. He's got this phantom knee injury. And multiple opportunities have come up here where he could still redeem himself. They gave you $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. And it seems like you're just packed up, checked out. Like, take my ball and go home. You guys don't want me. Like, I don't know. It seems super weak that Justin Fields was named the starter, didn't have to compete for it, was given all this guaranteed money. Aaron Glenn fought for him. And then here we are late in the season and he's just packed up. So is Garrett Wilson packed up. So, we'll start with the Jets here, and we'll get to Jackson Dart and Mike Kafka and Joe Shane as well. But with the Jets, right, Brian Costello wrote, Aaron Glenn says the Jets can win with Brady Cook. He did not consider going to Tyrod Taylor in the second half. Why? If you have these guys available, bro, why? Brady Cook is an undrafted rookie. What are we talking about? What are we talking about, bro? Let me see here. I'm going to get to more in a second. Aaron Glenn tells reporters he didn't consider Tyrod Taylor in the second half, that he felt Brady Cook gave them the best chance to win. He also acknowledged there's an evaluation component to this as well. He wanted to see Cook perform in a close game as opposed to the two previous games where they got absolutely smoked, I guess. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, don't shoot the messenger here. But it's a tank. It's a sleeveless. It's an A shirt. Some people used to call it a beater. It's a tank. Gervonta Tank Davis, Tank Dell, Tank Bigsby. It's a tank. It's a full-on tank. So shout out to Rich Cimini for that tweet and that report. And we'll get into some of the things around Aaron Glenn, right? The Jets have now gone 15 consecutive games without an interception, which is a new NFL record. Damn. The ball hawk himself, the former first-round draft pick at corner out of Texas A&M, had to fire his defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn, what's going on, bro? It's not a good look. And so you wonder why people are starting the conversation about, should Aaron Glenn keep his job after year one? I thought he was safe. I thought he was good. He won his 3 games. He beat Ohio. He beat the Bengals. He beat the Browns. I thought he was safe. Now people are saying, like, this is worse. Like, the Jets have gone backwards. Darren Muji's safe because he had a masterful trade deadline. But Aaron Glenn, man, like, they're not going to fire him. But, like, what have you seen from Aaron Glenn? And I say this because we did the same thing around Rob Saleh. What have you seen from Aaron Glenn this year, coaching-wise? And I know it's year one, that, like, inspires confidence. The rah-rah speeches about who want to fly with them freaking Jets. Like, all of that is whack to me. Like, on the converse, I look at Ben Johnson, who was in Detroit, and what he's done as a first-year head coach with the Bears. Oh, another first-year head coach in Liam Cohen with the Jags. It's not good enough. But whatever. It's good enough for the Jets because Woody likes him, and I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, Aaron Glenn is safe. Aaron Glenn's not going anywhere, but it's not because he's done a bang-up job. It's not because, you've seen anything to make you feel like, this guy is safe. But then that brings me to Black Monday, which is approaching. It's got nothing to do with sales. It's got nothing to do with African Americans. Black Monday is when, hey, these coaches are fired. Season's over, and it's fast approaching. The Ringer put out a list of the top 30 NFL coaching candidates, and I already mentioned Rob Saleh. He's number 1. And you know where you'll get to see Rob Saleh tonight? Bum, 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 bum. On Monday Night Football, you get to see his defense. And there's a lot of people looking at Aaron Glenn and how hard it is to have success with the Jets. And they're saying Rob Saleh got a raw deal. He got fired after week 5 last year. Nobody could win there. A lot of people are also looking at Aaron Rodgers and his success with the Steelers and saying nobody could freaking win there, man. Nobody could win there. So Rob Saleh might get an opportunity. Mike McCarthy is number 2, and that's my second segue that I set up to talk about your New York Football Giants. So if you notice when I put the scores up before, I put up the Jets, and then right underneath them, there it is. The Jets lose 29-6. Like I think it was Bart Scott and Willie Colon talking about the Saints shouldn't be 23 points better than you with their rookie quarterback who's made like 5 starts. So the Vikings come into town, and the first thing I was thinking about was last year when the Giants celebrated their 100 years and they had those terrible uniforms on. The first thing I was thinking about was Sam Darnold and the Vikings coming into MetLife week 1, where we thought that the Giants had some semblance of a chance, and they beat the Giants, and that was week 1. It was early in the season, and a lot of conversation was they were better prepared, they were better conditioned, they were just a better coach team. They didn't have the talent. I remember being on WFAN talking about how the Vikings were a team full of journeymen. A lot of guys that were cast-offs, a lot of guys that had come together like a motley crew, whether it was Sam Darnold or Aaron Jones or Van Ginkel or, just whoever they had on that team last year, and they came into Giants Stadium, MetLife Stadium, and they smacked the Giants around. But this was peculiar yesterday. So let's go here. All right, this was peculiar yesterday. All right, let's start here. Because I know you guys want to talk Jackson Dart, but we'll build towards it. So this wasn't peculiar. Congrats to Jon Runyan. He and his wife were expecting a child yesterday. So he did not play. He was inactive. His wife went into labor. He went to the hospital. I 100% support this. I 100%. You're literally not playing for anything. I 100% support him going to be there for the birth of, I don't care if it's his first kid, second kid, I don't care if it's his 15th kid. I 100% support him going to be with his wife and play his position for his home team, literally, versus be out there in the cold for the Giants who are tanking. So shout out to Jon Runyan. That's the first part of it. Okay. And then the second part of it, Andrew Thomas gets hurt in the game. Andrew Thomas said he won't know the specifics of his hamstring injury until he gets an MRI today. It's not the same leg as the hamstring injury he suffered in 2023, noted. He said he's missed enough time, so he doesn't want to sit out the final 2 games if he can play. I would keep an eye on that one. I know John Mara has spoken a lot about firing guys if he thought that they were tanking. I know John Mara has spoken a lot about, winning games. And I know how important it is to win games in that building. Like specifically like the Giants playing in MetLife Stadium in front of their fans, not getting booed, not having airplanes flying over the place, not having the place be overrun by the visitors. It literally is. Like, there were a ton of Vikings fans in there. Go back. The Niners fans, Bang Bang Niner Gang took over the place. The Packers fans took over the place. I was there. The Eagles fans tried to take over the place, and it was belt to ass. But you know why it was belt to ass? Because of one Jackson Dart do 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 Jackson Dart do 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 Jackson Dart do 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 Jackson Dart. Why is everybody turning on Dart now? Now Jackson Dart is not the guy anymore. Dart is not him anymore. So let me pull a couple things here because it's discouraging. It really is. Like, how does Jackson Dart go from being the next Josh Allen, the next Patrick Mahomes, the poster boy for the NFL, where he's dancing around, he's hitting his dance, and they're posting him on everything, and everybody's glazing this kid, saying that, like, oh, wow, what a pick. They traded to get him. This guy's generational. He's going to be the future of the Giants. All that Dart glazing. And now all of a sudden, people have turned on the kid. Stay with me here. I don't know what the game plan was yesterday. I don't know why they tried to dumb it down. I don't know why they went so vanilla. I'm confused. If Jackson Dart is still playing at this point, is it not to continue developing the rookie quarterback? Or are you just sure that he's an NFL like that's what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Is he already Patrick Mahomes? Is he already the next Josh Allen? Or does he still need to be developed? Are you going to let him play or are you going to handcuff him? So yesterday, shout out to Dan Schneider, NFL, who wrote, when you come with a game plan that's scared, the starting QB always performs worse the few times he's allowed to throw the ball or take a chance. This is bad for Dart's development, even if it may give Kafka a better chance of squeaking out a W, which would rather see him in tough spots. I don't know what the game plan was. Why were they not throwing the ball? I literally didn't understand it. I still don't understand it. It's such a perplexing Pegasus because, like, are they trying to win or are they tanking? They should be tanking. They did lose the game, but are they developing this young quarterback or are they trying to handcuff him? I'm honestly perplexed. I'm honestly confused by, like, why even have him out there then? If you're okay, let's break it down. Is it a safety thing? You're scared that he's going to get concussed? You're scared that he's going to get hurt? Then don't play him. You have 2 other pro quarterbacks on the roster with 100 games of experience between the 2 of them. Don't play him then. What's the point of that? What's the point of playing your most dynamic quarterback and not allowing him to be dynamic? I was literally like, I was like mad watching the game. I was like, this is stupid. Like, how many times did y'all hear me say, I'm not a Giants fan, but I love watching Jackson Dart play the quarterback position. He's fun to watch. He doesn't take L's. Well, he takes L's. He throws interceptions. Theo Johnson, catch the damn ball. Darius Slayton, hands like feet. Catch the damn ball. And that's where I go into with Dart, right? People want to be critical of Dart now. And let me flash this stat. If you're on YouTube, hello. If you're on Twitter, hello. TikTok, I see the chat going crazy over there. We will get to the TikTok chat. I see it's moving. I see Dre is on the TikTok chat. That's my one moderator over there. So shout out to him. I will get to you, but I'm rolling right now. Boom. Jackson Dart at the half was 1 for 5, 2 yards, an interception, which you got to give the assist to Theo Johnson, and he was sacked 3 times. Okay. Later in that game, J.J. McCarthy, who I thought J.J. McCarthy was going to have some type of a revenge game, because if you recall, he told Rich Eisen during the draft process that the team he had the most contact with, the team that he thought he had the best shot of being drafted by, was the New York Football Giants. Yeah, so I thought he might have revenge on his mind or something, but Brian Burns knocks him out of the game, and they're down to Max Brosmer from University of New Hampshire. And I'm thinking, oh, the Giants can win this game. But are they trying to win this game, or are they trying to tank? Are they trying to win the game, or are they trying to lose the game? It seemed like they were trying to lose the game with the way that they played. And now I got to play something for you guys. And maybe I can play the audio loud enough where TikTok can play it. But I know there are so many people that watch football that are ready for like the hot take, or ready to like switch up, or ready to just like, I don't know. And I'm not switching up on Jackson Dart. I've seen enough from the kid. And let me play this, and then I will talk about Theo Johnson and Darius Slayton and Cam Scattaboo and Malik Neighbors and Mike Kafka versus Brian Daboll. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, you'll be able to see this. I'm going to share the screen. If you're on TikTok, you cannot see this, but that is okay. Here is Damian Harris, former running back of the New England Patriots, who does a great job on CBS Sports talking NFL football. Here's what he had to say about Jackson Dart yesterday, and I don't agree, and I'll tell you why after.
I'm not sold that Jackson Dart is the guy. Truly, when I watch him play, I just don't think he's the guy. And it's a little bit of what Pete's saying, right? Whenever he tries to extend plays and use his legs and have this bat out of hell mentality, he just exposes himself to injuries. And we've already seen that. And at some point, it's not just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting the franchise. Because if you're the long-term answer, you are the most prized possession for the franchise as the starting quarterback. And if you can't protect that, that's a problem. And then you got another point. When Jackson Dart just stands in the pocket, he doesn't look like he looked at Ole Miss. He's not seeing the field and getting the ball out to different spots. Now, part of that is he doesn't have a lot of receivers that can separate and get open. I understand that. But you talk about it. When you watch guys play, you can see when they have it. I don't see it with Jackson Dart. I just see too much inconsistency. I see too much
disagree.
And I just don't see the fundamentals that can keep you from losing before they get you to a place where you win.
All right, I'm taking that off. Listen, the quarterback's job is to distribute the pill, right? The quarterback touches the ball on every single play, and you don't touch the ball unless the quarterback distributes that ball, that pill to you. So much has to happen for that to happen. The right play calls have to come in. You have to recognize what defense is in front of you, which Jackson Dart does very well. Like, we can't take that away from him. Like, in October, he was the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Now he's regressed. Let's say why he possibly has regressed here. What happened to the guy? What happened? Because I remember watching him come out against Harbaugh and Herbert and the Chargers, who are playoff bound, and beat them in MetLife, shocked the world, running the ball into the end zone, making plays, making throws. That was the last game he played with Malik Neighbors. That was the only game he played with Malik Neighbors. You think that doesn't hurt his development? Weren't the Giants supposed to trade for a receiver? Weren't they supposed to get Jalen Waddle? Weren't they supposed to get Jerry Jeudy? Who did the Giants go get at the trade deadline to help his development? Ray McCloud. They didn't trade for him. They just picked up Ray. Where has Ray McCloud been? He might be somewhere up in the clouds. Who are his top receivers? The chat is going crazy in TikTok. Okay. Wan'Dale Robinson. He's all right, but he's not real. He's all right. He's all right. He's not a number one. He's not a number two on most teams. They also had a rotating cast of characters from Lil Jordan Humphrey, who's back in Denver. Bo Collins. Oh, Darius Slayton, who, you got to fire Joe Shane. Joe Shane gave the same amount of money that he could have gave to Saquon to Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton is a whole bum. I'm sorry, I don't like to go there with people, but he's blown parlays. Like he blew my parlay last week when he had the touchdown in the end zone and dropped it. You cannot be a captain. You cannot be a made man, a paid man, veteran on this team who has been through all these different iterations of the Giants and not be coming through for the rookie quarterback. And it didn't just start now. In that Saints game, he was dropping passes when they should have won that game. That's your number one receiver. That's your number one target. Theo Johnson. Butterfingers. Needs the sticky stuff like the kid from Little Giants had. He's a liability. I don't care about his potential. Theo Johnson's potential to make plays and yada, yada, yada. You don't have any potential if you don't catch the ball. You're a liability if you don't catch the ball because it goes off your hands into the defense's hands. Now let's speak about the defense. Okay, I get it. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I get it. They were afraid of how he was going to disguise defenses and blitzes. So what? So what? You're not playing for anything. I think the most important thing you're playing for is not the first pick because you don't need Fernando Mendoza. You don't need Dante Moore. You don't need the first pick. It would be nice to see the Giants actually complete another bum-ass season where they do get the first pick because they've botched that so many times, right? They end up picking 6th. They end up picking 3rd. To see it all the way through now. But, I think the most important thing that the Giants are playing for is the development of this rookie quarterback. He's the whole show. If I'm a Giants fan going to that game, I am going there to see him and Brian Burns. Maybe Abdul Carter. Lined up in the neutral zone, had his hand over the line of scrimmage. Holland returns it, and it gets called back. Good job, Abdul Carter. Tank is fully on. And Lane, I understand. You still want that first pick so you can trade it. You can trade any of those top picks. Look at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are a great team this year. They got finessed. They traded up for Travis Hunter. He's not helping them at all right now. They don't need him. So, and I honestly think that they're gonna beat the Raiders. They're gonna go to Vegas and beat the Raiders. So what are we talking about? What I'm talking about is do not give up on Jackson Dart. He is the guy. He is like that. He's still him. But he lost his road dog Cam Scatterboo weeks ago in that Eagles game. That's his man's. That's his right-hand man. And Tyrone Tracy's all right, Devin Singletary, okay. But when you're a quarterback and you're out there on your own without your weapons, you're literally out there on your own. Did you guys not see Hard Knocks? Where they're saying, hey, this quarterback likes to run the ball. We got to hit him. He's a threat to run the ball. The whole defense is predicated on stopping Jackson Dart. He is a rookie. And you know what Mike Kafka did? He neutered him. He disabled him. For what? To keep him safe? I've noticed a kid getting down. I've noticed a kid trying to slide. I've noticed a kid trying not to take hits after the linebacker from the Patriots boomed his ass out of bounds. I noticed Jackson Dart taking a little bit of more caution out there. But I was saying this when I was on the Fan. When people were saying that they should shut him down for the rest of the season after he got concussed against the Chicago Bears. And even that, right? You're going to watch the NFL playoffs this year. There's going to be 2 teams that Jackson Dart beat, the Eagles and the Chargers. You're also going to see teams like the Denver Broncos, who he had beat, the Chicago Bears that he had beat. And he got concussed in that game. And this is the last thing I'll say about it. Kafka doesn't stand a chance as head coach. 0% chance. I even saw this, right? He tried to give Theo Johnson. Mike Kafka gives Theo Johnson a vote of confidence despite his drops. He says, he's a guy that's made a lot of big plays consistently throughout the last 5 to 7 games. I know he's had some drops in the past. That's in the past. No, that's in the present. He's had a lot of costly drops. And that's why I say he's more of a liability than an asset. But Kafka is not going to be the coach of this team. And when I think back to that Bears game and them losing the Bears game, after that game, they fired Brian Daboll. And I knew it was time to go because you can't blow another game that you had over 90% chance to win, right? It's the NFL. But now I look back at all of this. Shane Bowen should have been the first one fired. That defense has been terrible all year. Shane Bowen should have been the first one to go. Okay? But you had to get Brian Daboll out of everyone's face because they were coming home and they had that next home game and it was like, fire this guy to throw the fans a pound of flesh. But I do remember saying, you don't know what that does to this kid. He goes on to miss the next 2 weeks, right? Because he's concussed. But who was he spending the most time with in the building? The guy that drafted him. Joe Schoen didn't draft Jackson Dart. He did, but we have audio and video where he basically was saying to Daboll, hey, this is your guy. He basically was saying to him, like, this is the guy you want. You went through the process. We're going to roll the dice. There was a report that Daboll had so much conviction in Jackson Dart, he was willing to use the number 3 overall pick on him. So when they fired Daboll, my thought was, okay, what does that do to his preparation? His weekly process. There were reports about him texting Brian Daboll at 4 a.m. There were reports about him and Daboll spending 10 hours in the building together. That was his guy. So was Cam Scatterboo. So was Malik Neighbors. So now you've got this young guy out here who last game is wondering like, yeah, I don't know why I always got to get checked. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're pulling me off the field. Like, kid gloves for me, it's football, man. It's not soccer. If you check my tape, I've always played like this. Now you got this kid regressing under Mike Kafka's play calling, which coincidentally enough, wasn't Mike Kafka calling the plays in that Bears game where they were running him and those games prior to where they were losing and they were running him and that got Brian Daboll fired? Make it make sense. The Giants are a mess. And you know what? The last thing I'm going to say is, before we go to the rest of the topics here, history repeats itself, bros. History repeats itself. Fire Joe Schoen. And I'm not saying that to see a man lose his job. People like to make jokes about people losing their jobs, and I don't think that's funny at all. But you have to fire Joe Schoen because he can't be allowed to hire the next coach. He can't be allowed to continue this because history is going to repeat itself. Learn from your mistakes with Ike Reese, with David Gettleman, and you firing those coaches and not firing the GMs. The GMs are the ones that pick the personnel. Where the hell is Evan Neal? Jalen Hyatt, Deonte Banks suck. Who the hell was that kicking for the Giants yesterday? Joe Schoen's got the most blood on his hands. Everybody else has been fired. Shane Bowen, Brian Daboll. And they got to fire this guy. This is an all-time low. The Giants have lost at least 9 in a row in 3 of the last 7 seasons. I think in my notes, shout out to Marshall Green, who does a great stream during the games for Giants fans. It's always lit. I think I saw Marshall put out there that the Giants have won 5 out of their last 32 games. How does anybody keep their job? How does anybody keep their job, yo? How does anybody keep their job? How does the GM of this disaster keep his job? Only in New York, baby. Only in New York Football Giants. They're going to repeat history again. They're going to repeat history again. You're damned to make the same mistakes if you don't learn from your own history. 877-337-6666. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Give me a call. Just kidding. I'm not on the Fan. And that's the old number, 888-808-1037. 1019, taking your calls right after this quick break. Oh. I was just getting some water, man. I was just getting some water. Let's hit the chat real quick. Kev says, Mets about to be the best team in the NL East. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Frank says, BT and Keith live streams today. Yes. I started off this stream shouting out BT and his amazing growth overnight on YouTube. It shows you that those 70,000 followers he has on Twitter, it's legit. It shows you that the years 20, 25, maybe even 30 years BT might have been at it on the radio and television out here. He's got a solid fan base, listenership, loyalty. BT is like 15 years older than me. And I don't say that as shade. I say that as in 15 years when I'm his age, I hope that through my work and my content and what I'm doing, that I have a strong base of support like that. So there's a ton of people in the chat. Bear with me. I'm going to go back to the YouTube chat first. I love that everybody knows when I come on to throw out the you're. So shout out to Isaac. Shout out to Vladdy. They said my audio on YouTube was gone at first. Never mind, it's back. Yeah, I know. I muted myself by accident. This little thing is tricky right here, man. To mute it is just a tap on the back. It's just like a tap button on the back. So if you accidentally hit it, it mutes. Okay. Dre said Jeff McNeil traded to the A's. Well, I know you guys want to talk baseball, and I'm wearing the Yankees hat. I'm going to do that before I get out of here. I'm going to pick up my sister at 4:00. She's landing from LAX to EWR. She'll be in Newark at like 4:12. I live like 15 minutes from the airport, so I'm going to leave at 4. Let me see if I can find that. Is it Jeff Passan out there? Whatever. Anthony DeComo. Boom. All right, I got it. We got that queued up. Once we clear the chat, we'll talk about Jeff McNeil. We'll talk about the Yankees. We'll talk about the Mets. We'll talk about Wilson Contreras to the Red Sox. There's a few things in the baseball world to speak on. I think I did a Paul Blackburn stream a couple days ago. Who cares? Shout out to Paul Burke, who says, miss you on the radio, my friend. They gonna miss me a little when I'm gone. But what I'll say about that is, like, just stay tuned, folks. I know people are hard of hearing. I know people don't want to listen when I say things, because, like, the truth is better than, the truth isn't as good as their own narratives and stories. But like I literally told you a month ago, which, like, today, December 22nd, makes it 1 month that I've been off the air. Damn. Irrelevant. Ghost. Damn. What a bum. What a loser. Get a job. My last words were spoken on November 22nd at 1:54 a.m. on WFAN. But those weren't my last words. That wasn't my last show. So stay tuned. Anywho, yeah, this weekend was wild, man. Bills got to work out. We'll skip through. Some people were talking about the Bills. Vladdy had to say the Nets are trash. They're not trash. Let that record get up to 19, 20 wins. A day is in here. He said, yo, Keith, I saw you doing something for WFAN out in Times Square. I know the haters were sick. I was doing some work. Let's hit that, actually. Like, That's what I'm saying. A day when I looked straight into the camera in this room and I spoke my truth, I tried to be real, I tried to be authentic, and I told people what was going on. I watched as people came up with what was going on, and I realized right then and there, it does not matter. As long as I know the truth, as long as people on the inside of the building, my bosses know the truth, then none of it matters on the internet. None of the comments matter. None of the Reddit stuff, Twitter stuff. Like, honestly, bro, like, you know how blessed I feel as someone who dreamed of doing this and nobody was watching? Nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared. And it wasn't that long ago. Like, if you look at my Twitter, I was just putting out 6 years ago, I actually was broke. 6 years ago, I actually was on, like, to even have people talk about me in a way where they're like joking about me being fired or whatever. It's all good. It's all good. I became somebody in the hardest place in the world to become. I literally am living my dream. I went to school for radio and television, and I'm on the radio and I've been on television. And I got a feeling I'm going to continue to do both, Lord willing. So with that being said, let's share that piece of content that Day was talking about. He said, I saw you doing something for WFAN out there in Times Square. I know the haters were sick. They shouldn't be sick. They should just stop, coming up with dumb stuff and just listen to what I'm saying. Here it is. Keith McPherson, WFAN, out here on the streets of New York, where New York sports talk happens outside of hot takes and calls on the radio. Let's see if we can get some hot takes in the cold weather. The Knicks won't hang the banner. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That is a good thing. We had such high expectations last year. They were disappointed. By not hanging the banner shows the work isn't done yet. Like, they won the cup, but that's not our end goal. Our end goal is a championship. We want a chip back in New York. We need a championship in New York eventually. And I think the Knicks are the team that's going to do it this year. And by not hanging the banner, they really show to their fans that, like, this isn't over. The work isn't done yet.
It's like a participation trophy, so I don't want them hanging it up. It was a great win, hard fought. Brown had a good choice putting Kolek in, saved the game in my opinion. But yeah, I think we're going to hang the real banner up in June.
Last year, the Bucks had to hang the banner. Before that, the Lakers had to hang the banner.
First round knockouts.
The Knicks don't hang the banner, and maybe they'll be the first team to win the NBA Cup and the Finals. What do you think about that?
I think that's the plan.
Okay. So what I'll say about that as we go back to the StreamYard chat and I remove that piece of content was man on the street content that was completely my idea. And I went out with my boy Future. If you see Future in the chat, Yanks 2077 Future. Like, we just went out into the city Wednesday of last week when it was a little warmer. It got up to 41. It wasn't 31. And I just went out there with some cardboard. I went out there and I talked to like maybe 6 or 7 different people. I didn't mean to do the 6-7 thing. That's dead. Please, 2026, can we move on from 6-7, 8-9? But like, what I'll say is, I am a radio host, yes, but I am not just radio. Like, I can go out into the middle of Manhattan, Bryant Park, Times Square, mix it up, and talk to fans. And that was the whole premise of, hey, cold weather, hot takes. These hot takes and sports conversations in New York are happening outside of the radio. Let's see if we can get some of that and capture it on camera, on a microphone. So stay tuned, for more of that. Stay tuned for more social media and more digital content on top of radio stuff. Like Mike says, chance you return to fan ever? 100% chance. 100% chance. What's good, bro? Mr. Cruz, what's good? Billy's in here. Billtron, appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Jack was saying, Keith, you were saying over the summer you can't wait for football, and the whole time I was dreading football season as a Jets fan. See, like, what I'll say is, I kind of let go of my football fandom as far as my NFL team. I made the best decision ever in doing that because the Dallas Cowboys are a whole trash can and Jerry Jones is scum. But it released me from that Sunday feeling of, okay, let me put my jersey on, let me put my hat on, let me go to the bar or sit on the couch and invest all of my energy and my hopes and dreams and my whole personality and how I'm going to feel into the clown show Dallas Cowboys. I even got on the airwaves and told y'all, you don't have to do this. You can freeze your account. You can completely abandon the team. There's no blood pact. But us as American fans, we think that like our loyalty to these teams is so binding that we can never just relinquish it or change it. There are a lot of people that do. But on the other coin, I understand like loyalty, like the Jets fans, they literally, let me see if I have that. There was this thing where they were talking about the Jets fans. It was so sad. Did I save it? I did save it. It's on Instagram. I don't know if I can share the screen from Instagram. But it was talking about Jets fans and their loyalty. Let me see if I can do it. I can do it. TikTok. Hey, you guys got to look me up on YouTube. You guys got to look me up on Twitter if you're on TikTok and you want to hear this stuff. So let me see if you guys can hear this. If you were watching the game yesterday, then you heard it in the broadcast. But how pathetic is this?
Just how loyal and dedicated they are with that return on investment. 15 years without a playoff berth, the longest. There's actually a decent amount of Jets fans here. I mean, you see them on social media, you talk with them.
They all look sick.
Most of the ones I talk to have a very realistic perspective of where they're at and what they want. But they continue to support this team without getting a whole lot in return. I'm incredibly impressed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a point in time where you get tired of being the butt of every joke. There's a point in time where it's like, okay, I've had enough emotional distress, letdown, disappointment from a freaking team that I invest my time and money in, and I can't do anything to change the outcome. So I just kind of hung it up for fandom reasons. Like I said, now the Cowboys are eliminated again. It's been 30 years since they've made it to a conference championship. How old do you think I am? It's like my entire life. That's my entire fandom, right? I became a fan of them right as they were winning Super Bowls. And by the time I could like really start remembering things, they were cooked. I know it's worse to be a Jet fan, but I'm telling you, you can be a Jet fan, but just turn it down a little bit. Just turn it down, bro. Turn it down for your own well-being, your own mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be in this modern day time. You can bet on the NFL and have fun that way. Anytime touchdowns, prop bets, yards, receptions. Like, you can bet on, who's going to cover the spread, who's going to win money line, and have a lot of fun that way. Your fantasy team, you could have 10 fantasy leagues if you're into it like that. You also have Red Zone, you have NFL Plus. You can watch whatever team. I don't think there's a rule, especially with the NFL, where it's you can only be this one team. I root for the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. Like I already told you in this stream, I have family down there. When their franchise started, I was down there. You know what I'm saying? Even here with the Jets and the Giants, I grew up, Giants were a sworn enemy to me. But for the last 4 years, I've been on the radio. I've been on the Giants radio network. I've worked with Tiki Barber. I've worked with Bob Papa. I've talked to Carl Banks, guys like that. Like, you think I don't want the Giants to win? The year that they actually went to the playoffs and beat the Vikings, that was a fun year. You're like the Jets. You think I don't want the Jets to be like Aaron Rodgers comes here? It's way more fun to get on the radio and talk about good football. The 4 years that I've spent on WFAN, I came in and they were firing Jason Garrett from the Giants. I left as they were firing Brian Daboll and Shane Bowen. It's just a vicious cycle. It sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun to talk about losing. It's not fun to talk about losing, but speaking about, losing and talking about losing, I know what you guys want to do. Jeff McNeil and cash to the A's. Speaking of losing, CT Dad said, should we show up to Citi Field opening day with a sign asking, how are you going to disappoint us again? Yeah. If I'm a Met fan, I'm mad as hell. If I'm a Met fan and I was called out by my owner last year to come to the ballpark, and I did go ahead and buy that 10-game, 20-game full season plan, to be embarrassed like that, I'm mad as hell right now. So I get it. You guys want to get to You guys want to get to Jeff McNeil and whatnot. I hit on the Jets. I hit on the Giants. The Giants lose that game to the Vikings 16-13. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. They do enough to come out with another victory. The Chargers smoke the Dallas Cowboys. Cool. The night games, the Falcons, whether it's Bijan, whether it's Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk O'Change, you like that. Good for him getting an opportunity at some redemption here and getting some wins down the stretch with the Falcons. The Steelers, just as soon as you're ready to fire Mike Tomlin, just as soon as you're ready to say the Steelers are cooked, they're 9-6. They're right there to win the division. They beat the Lions, and I didn't think they were beating the Lions, not in the Lions building. And then last but not least, the last two games, the Raiders actually played tough. Ashton Janty, Brock Bowers, Geno Smith, they actually play tough with the Texans, where it's not a guarantee that they just lay down and lose at home to the Giants. The Texans needed that win. They get the win. They do enough. And then the Patriots, I fell asleep on the game, but I knew the Patriots were going to win. My mom asked me for her survivor pool, Patriots or Ravens. I'm like, the Ravens are favored, but Lamar Jackson folds in big games. I mean, he got knocked out of the game, and they took Derrick Henry out of the game, and the Patriots found a way to win. So I think that's pretty much all I had for the NFL stuff. I think, with Tankathon, I'll close with Tankathon. We'll do a little bit of baseball here. We'll do the Tankathon draft order. And I'll tell you my thoughts. And we don't even need, I guess we can go top 10. I'll tell you my thoughts as both the Jets and Giants are in another vicious cycle of tank. Okay, so here's Tankathon.com right now. The New York Giants have the number one pick at 2-13 with a 133 win percentage. They're facing off in the toilet bowl against the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think the Raiders are gonna smell that they can beat the Giants. They're gonna smell, I smell. Is that you, Giants? They're gonna smell the Giants, and they're gonna play them tough. And if the Giants go in with the stupid game plan to not throw the ball and to neuter Jackson Dart and put handcuffs on him and not let him be his dynamic self, then yeah, they'll get beat. They'll get beat. But then when you see Cleveland, this is for you. Cleveland, they just played tough against the Buffalo Bills. They've got a game against the Steelers. I think they lose. They got a game against the Bengals. I think they lose. But they now have, they told me, bust down my AP, perfect timing. They have Shedeur Sanders, who, say what you want about him. There's something there. Deshaun Watson, they paid a boatload of money to. He'll be back next year. Dylan Gabriel you have 3 quarterbacks. You don't need to draft a quarterback with that top pick. So I would take them out of it. And I'll close here with Dante Moore. I watched Dante Moore against James Madison University over the weekend. Dante Moore is a young man who I think should stay in school. Dante Moore is 20 years old. He will turn 21 in May. Dante Moore, I wrote on Twitter, should stay at Oregon. He's young. I'm getting flashbacks of a young Mark Sanchez, a young Zach Wilson coming to the Jets, young Sam Darnold. Do you see the pattern here? Right? Because if the Jets are not able to get, because there might be somebody in this tankathon, right? If the Jets are on the outside looking in, which I think the Jets are going to lose out and lose every game, but if the Jets are on the outside looking in those top picks, and I don't expect the Giants to trade with the Jets. I don't expect that at all. And I don't expect the Giants to trade Jackson Dart. But let's say the Jets are on the outside looking in on the Fernando Mendoza sweepstakes because he just won the Heisman. He won the Big Ten. He could win the national championship. They might end up with Dante Moore. And I think Dante Moore should go back to school. There's NIL money there for you, boss. Go there. We'll see how far Oregon goes. Go there and get your 3, 4, 5 million, whatever it is, probably more next year. And let the chips fall where they may, and maybe you end up in a better situation. I don't want to see the Jets do it. I'm getting flashbacks of Mark Sanchez, who came out early, and Pete Carroll said he came out too early. Zach Wilson, who came out after the COVID year at BYU, and he came out a year early, I believe, was not ready. Sam Darnold was another one coming out of USC, and that's another thing, West Coast. These are West Coast guys coming from USC, BYU, USC, Oregon. It does not work here. The Jets getting Dante Moore, I think it would be another mistake. It would be deja vu for this Jets regime. I think they should not do that. Karan says, Keith, when will the Yankees wake up and do something? What you saying? They just brought back Paul Blackburn. They brought back Ahmed Rosario. They brought back Trent Grisham. Ugh. They brought back Ryan Yarbrough. Listen, bro. What up, Ariel? Wally Joyce says, can you get your own station on the Odyssey app? This is my station on the Odyssey app. And 94.7 The Block, you could hear me rap on that station. I don't think I'm the first one that ever did that. But let me get my thoughts off here. Yankees are easy to dissect. Yankees are easy to talk about. They're not spending money. They're making these small, little, marginal moves. The only player that they will spend money on potentially is Cody Bellinger. And I don't expect them to be the highest bidder. So I don't expect them to get Cody Bellinger. And I think they'll be just fine saying, we have Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez at home, and they're going to battle it out, and they're going to compete. So it's short and simple. The payroll, the looming lockout that will be December 1st of 2026. The Yankees aren't going out. They're not getting Alex Bregman. They're not getting Kyle Tucker. They're not getting Munetaka Murakami, who just went to the White Sox for $17 million for 2 years to prove himself. They're not getting Michael King. They're not getting Tatsuya Imai. They're not even offering guys. You know, we had a good time last week trolling the Met fans. Devin Williams signs, Luke Weaver signs. They didn't offer either one of those guys. And a lot of times in free agency, these guys like to be signed, sealed, delivered by Christmas so they can buy their, loved ones' Mets gear. The Yankees are they're content. The Yankees are chilling because they feel like we're right there. Back-to-back years, we won 94 games. Back-to-back years, we lost to a World Series team. We were in the World Series, lost to the Dodgers. We were in the World Series. Or we lost to the Blue Jays. They went to the World Series. The tiebreaker's the only thing that was a difference with them. So they feel like it's not broke. It doesn't need a lot of fixing. And for Jeff McNeil, and this was obvious, man, I have a video. If I could go back to it, I would. I could probably pull it up. I called all of this, but I'll never get credit for calling things with the Mets. I'll never get credit for it. I don't hate the Mets. These are my Mets. I'll never get credit for the correct things that I say about the New York Mets because I get labeled a Mets hater and troll, and it warms my heart. If baby Keith, if young baby Keith that put on that Yankee hat knew that he would grow up to be the number one Mets hater and the number one Mets troll, but I'll never get credit for the things that I say that are correct. That absolutely come true. Let me see if I can play one right here. I told you D Stearns. The D is for destruction. The D is for destroying. He is going to destroy everything you knew and loved about the Mets, and he should. They were trash. They missed the postseason last year. So let me see if I can share this real quick. Because when Devin Williams signed, I called it. Here it is. Just a wow. Oh, the wow was Devin to the Mets? Oh, Devin Williams to the Mets? Is that breaking news right now? Devin Williams to the Mets. Devin Williams has agreed to a 3-year. Perfect. And I'm live for now, listen to what I say. Not right here. I'm just laughing at the Mets signing Devin Williams. Luke Weaver, I thought was a guaranteed to be. I said Luke Weaver, I thought was a guaranteed Met. The Yankees traded for him. He spent a year in pinstripes. They signed him later. A harder place to play. I was 2 weeks early. Reliever Devin Williams and the New York Mets. What you couldn't hear there, I said, is the Mets believe if you can play for the Yankees, you definitely can succeed and play for the Mets. It's harder to do it for the Yankees, the A team. Now listen. I don't know. I think Mets fans are going to lose it if Edwin Diaz isn't back. He's a Dodger now. It's going to literally be a whole new team. It's going to be a whole new team. All y'all in here, man. I'll be live. David Stearns is making a whole new team. Probably later in the day. Now listen. And we'll see what else transpires after Devin Williams now. The Mets have to make everybody shave now that Devin Williams is on the team. Not that. Edwin Diaz is gone. Edwin Diaz is gone. They're destroying the Mets. David Stearns does not want Pete Alonso. He's with the O's. Jeff McNeil. Diaz. Did you hear me say Jeff McNeil? Done. You heard me call that, and it wasn't hard to call. It wasn't hard to call, and I don't need to peacock about it. But I'll never get credit for being right, with Mets stuff, because they don't want to hear it from me. But I told you, that video was December 1st. I said Edwin Diaz is gone. Pete Alonso is gone. Jeff McNeil is gone. And I was correct. I was absolutely correct. I was right.
Bing bong.
I was right. How do the Met fans feel? The Flying Squirrel is flying to Sacramento to play for the Oakland freaking A's. Okay. For cash considerations. Okay. 34-year-old Jeff McNeil. Okay. I don't know. It's fine. But just remember, you heard it here first. Like on wax, bro. December, and that wasn't even December 1st. I think I posted the video December 1st. It had to be November because I went live for. Let me see the calendar. I went live that night for Monday Night Football. No, okay, I did post it. Monday Night Football, December 1st. I posted it late. I told y'all the Mets were going to look completely different and that they were getting rid of Edwin Diaz, or not getting rid of, but Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, those guys were not going to be back. And now you have Jorge Polanco meeting the media. I don't know why. They got to tell these guys, if you're going to be on camera, like adjust the camera angle. See how my camera here is above me? They had Polanco looking type crazy. His whole head shape was looking wild, boy. I don't know who advised him. So, yo, that's all I got, man. I got to go to the airport and get my sister. If you're on YouTube, hit like. And Paul says, would you rather be traded to the Savannah Bananas or the Athletics? The Bananas. I'm a huge Bananas fan. I love everything that the Savannah Bananas are and created. Jesse Cole is a genius. They showed me mad love when they came to the stadium. I absolutely loved Banana Ball in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. I said that if the Savannah Bananas offered Juan Soto $1 million more, $1 more than the Mets, Juan Soto would have been a banana. So, let's see. Yeah, that's all I got, man. See anonymous dummies in the TikTok chat. Add a profile pic before you start hating on somebody. Or do you not know how to use that part of the app? Like, click on yourself, which is a shadow, go to your camera roll, and put your face next to what you're going to say. Good grief. Do you believe the Yankees make any big moves? I don't. Maybe Cody Bellinger, and that's not going to be a Yankee big move. That's going to be Cody Bellinger deciding, I want to play with the Yankees. I'm going to take what they give me because I think that the Mets are going to bid higher for him. I think the Mets have the money to give him a bigger contract if they so deem. So if they deem Bellinger to be, and I think he's definitely a fit. He can play all three outfield positions and first base. So that's all I've got. I got to go get my sister Taylor from the airport. Appreciate y'all, man. I don't know where should I end this first? I should end this with freaking. Where are my sound effects at? Now that I got sound effects.
Another one.
You know how I end this. So now I got a little bit of an away video and I got a slogan. Stay blessed, stay up, and stay ready so you ain't got to get.
This is the Yes Network right here. Phantom Acts of Kindness hooking us up right here.
Yeah, he's excelled at every level. And they told this kid, hey, you have the opportunity to win the job in camp. So, like, you got to put Judge in this category. When you're talking about the most impressive season since, like, you got to put A-Rod. Like, format, this first year, the new format, the Beast of the East, the Yankees crushed the best division in baseball. McPherson, WFAN, on stage.
Hey, Keith Mack, man. Big fan.